So good morning. I decided to start filming this video after I had started my page. You'll see the first few steps were already completed before I filmed. And all of the supplies I started with on this page come from a purchase I made at the Philadelphia Flower Show last week. I have a love of Michal Golan jewelry. Maybe somewhere in this video I should stop and show you some of my beautiful jewelry. But when I found out that Michal was going to be at the flower show as a vendor, I went to meet her in person. I ended up meeting her husband instead. She was off visiting one of the museums in Philadelphia. So the first base layer on this page was the tissue paper that came wrapped around my jewelry. The two strips of color on the side were thick cardboard-like paper that was also around my jewelry when I got it. And I thought the artwork on it was beautiful, and I'm sure Michal did it. She's a designer. So I decided to start my page with those. And then you'll notice I used a homemade stencil and a sponge with some craft paint to lay down that turquoise. Right now I'm flipping through a magazine looking for something that I want to add of the right color and right tone. And I chose this page here of kind of a dull blue, thinking it would go. I realized my paint was still wet. I had to really quickly dry my page. And you'll see I start cutting out something for the bottom of my page. Being that this is all based around the flower show, I wanted to make it look sort of like something growing on the bottom, but not really anything specific. So I'll leave you with that. I'm not going to show you all the cutting. I took most of that out. So here the cutting is all done, and I'm picking out some colors, trying to coordinate them with the colors that are already in there. I really didn't do a careful job of it. I was just having fun and grabbing colors. You'll notice I tried to pick some pinks and some oranges like that are in there. And I don't understand my decision to go with the lavender, except that I saw it and thought, oh, maybe this will go. At the end, I really wish I hadn't used the lavender. It's not anywhere in the artwork that was on the page. But everything comes out okay. Remember, it's just an art journal page. I'm just having fun. So I started applying some paint with a cosmetic sponge to the background to push it back a little bit. It's way too much and way too bold. I immediately noticed when I started adding my pink that on top of the blue it turned it very purple, which is again introducing a new color in that's not anywhere in those pieces of paper that I'm trying to base everything on. But it's okay. I started adding more of the orangey colors to try and counterbalance that. About here, as I was finishing up my paint on the back and putting my magazine page on top, I started realizing it just wasn't doing it for me. I didn't like my choice of what I was putting in the foreground. So, off camera, I cut out new ones. Here are the new ones out of a phone book. I decided I liked the black and white in the front rather than the color. It's just the way it goes. We move along, we change our mind, and switch directions. some of the footage where I was just using my matte medium to put this paper down. I thought you didn't need to see me do all of it. It's kind of tedious. I did use the card to try and eliminate some of the wrinkles, but I like the wrinkles. They make texture. So I definitely left some of them in there. Phone book paper is so thin, it's almost impossible to put it down completely flat. While it was wet, I didn't even wait for it to start drying. I took out my cosmetic sponge again and the lavender paint, and I'm just adding a little bit over top of the phone book pages, just at the bottom, and then I introduced more of that lavender up higher in the page. I tried to edit out a lot of the using of the dryer or the tedious parts, but you know, editing is too hard a work. I don't want to spend this much time editing, so I'm sorry I left some of that boring stuff in. And now that it's all dry, I got out my Stabilo all black pencil and started sketching out a face. Nothing too detailed. You notice first the eyes aren't even on the same level. You'll see me work later to try and straighten them out a little. But I'm not really concerned. I want it to be loose and easy. So here I am just obviously using the same colors that I have out on my palette and that I've been using throughout the page to start filling in her face. I'm keeping it loose and simple and not worrying about details. You'll see often in my work I'm influenced heavily by Christy Sobolewski, Gulf Sprite. She does her girls lately a lot with this kind of hair. So thank you, Christy, for letting me copy that from you. And also the way the one side of the face just kind of disappears. It doesn't really have an edge. I learned that from Christy as well. And it's one of my favorite techniques. I love doing girls that way. really don't know what this blue line that I'm painting is. I just know I felt like putting it in there, and I love it when the page is done. It's one of my favorite parts. So here I'm using that Stabilo all pencil again to put a shadow behind this growth-like stuff in the front. I guess I'll call it grass, just to give it some depth, to bring it more into the foreground. And then I cut a lot of that footage out so you didn't have to watch me do the whole thing. Now I'm getting back out the same colors that are in the flowers on the left and a Posca pen possibly to start replicating some of those flowers that are in her art and putting them on my side of the page. It was fun. I could have gotten a lot more detailed to make them exact, but like I said, this page is all about me having fun during a very, very stressful time in the world. I needed to chill out, to create, to not overthink, to have no worries. This was really important for me today. I hope you guys are doing some of that as well. a side note, I often use a little used gift card as a palette. It's just the perfect size. I keep way too much stuff on my table. I have a huge art table, but it's full of stuff. And that card is just a perfect little size to put on the side of my work and to pick up and move around easily. So I thought I was done. Here I am putting in my journaling. I left this writing legible. It's not my normal scribble journaling because I wanted to keep my thoughts about the day. There's the paper from the flower show, the brochure. Then I took it down to my sofa, and as you can see, I decided to put line work on all the grasses. I love sitting and making lines with my marker. So I didn't get that part on film. It was pretty tedious anyway. It's just sitting and making repetitive lines. Thanks so much for watching. I love the way this page turned out. And there's my next page. My leftover paint that was on that little gift card got smeared on that page. So here's the finished piece. I hope you have a beautiful day and make some beautiful art.